Hello again, and welcome back to Kids Bible Stories. Today's story is called From Nothing to Plenty, God's Blessing of Oil. This is Elisha Part 4, and comes from 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. Today, I would like to give a great big thank you to AON. I'm so glad that you are enjoying the podcast, and thank you for your support. Also, thank you to our newest Patreon supporters, Heather, Mina, Sarah, and Katie. We appreciate you. Families, if you want to check out what they're enjoying and play a huge role in spreading the Bible to children, just check the links in the show notes. All right, I'm so glad that we are back to our series. Parents, we kicked this off just before Christmas with episode 351. If you missed it or need a quick refresher, be sure to check out Elisha parts 1 through 3, starting at episode 351. We paused the series for our Christmas episodes, so you'll find it a little further back in the playlist. Okay, let's dive back in, learning about God through the life of Elisha. Listeners, have you ever heard the word debt before?
Maybe. Yes.
Well, today you will need to know what debt means. It's a big part of our story. And don't worry, because if you don't know what it is, I'm going to tell you. Here's what debt is. Let's say you see a toy that you really want at the store, but you don't have enough money in your piggy bank. You ask mom or dad if they can give you the money to buy it. Since you borrowed the money, you'll need to pay it back later. Maybe by doing chores or using money you get for your birthday. Until you pay it back, that borrowed money is called debt. Now that we have that settled, let's begin today's story. A long time ago, in a small village, there lived a woman with her 2 sons. The woman's husband had been part of a special group. You see, he was a prophet. A prophet is someone chosen by God to share his messages with people.
Boys and girls, you can think of it like this. If God wanted to tell people something they needed to hear, he might send a prophet to deliver that message. Prophets, they tried to listen carefully to God, and then they told the people what he wanted them to know, sometimes to encourage them, sometimes to warn them, or to help them stay close to him. Back to you, Jess.
Well, one sad day, her husband passed away, leaving her to care for their family all on her own. Not long after, the woman received terrible news, and with this, off she set to find the prophet we've been talking about. Shout out his name, everyone.
Elisha.
Yes, Elisha. Finding Elisha, she told him this terrible news and pleaded with him, saying, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant, he feared the Lord. But the man that he owed money to, well, he has come to take my 2 children to be his slaves, if I don't pay back the debt." You see, the man her husband had borrowed money from was coming to take her 2 boys away as payment for the debt. She was heartbroken and didn't know what to do. Elisha said to her,
How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?
She thought for just a moment. "I have nothing in the house, except a jar of oil." Her lip quivered as she fought back tears. Elisha replied,
Go and get empty jars from all your neighbors, and don't just ask for a few. Then you must go into your house and close the door. Only you and your sons will be there. Then pour oil into all the jars and set the full ones to one side."
She nodded and rushed off quickly to do as Elisha said. The Bible doesn't tell us what it was like as they gathered jars, but I imagine the two young brothers, their faces dusty from the day, darted from door to door, knocking with urgency. Their small fists thudded against each wooden door.
Excuse me, please. Do you have a jar our family might borrow?
The older boy asked, his wide eyes shining with both hope and worry. Behind him, the younger brother held his breath, clutching the one jar they already had tightly to his chest, as if it were the most valuable treasure in the world. At one house, a woman with silver hair peeked out, holding a basket of herbs.
"A jar? What for?"
she asked.
It's for our mother. Please, we need every jar we could get.
The younger boy blurted out. The woman's face softened as she disappeared inside. Moments later, she returned with a large clay jar.
"Here, take this. I hope it helps,"
she said, placing it carefully into the older boy's hands.
Thank you so much.
They said together, their voices bursting with gratitude. One by one, house by house, the brothers went on. I bet some doors stayed shut, but others opened, and with each new jar, their arms grew heavier, and their hope grew brighter. They probably prayed, asking God for help. They needed a miracle. Well, once the jars were in their home, their mother shut the door. It was just them now. The room fell quiet, except for the soft sound of her breathing and the gentle clink of the jars they had gathered. They all glanced at each other, wondering, how was this going to work? What was God about to do? With trembling hands, the mother picked up the small jar of oil and began to pour. To their amazement, the oil, it didn't run out. The boys quickly brought her another jar, then another, and the oil kept flowing like a golden stream. The jars filled up one by one, and the boys rushed to keep up. "Bring me another jar," she said excitedly.
There's no more, Mama,
the older boy said, his voice filled with awe. At that moment, the oil stopped flowing. She looked at the jars, now glistening with oil, and smiled. Off she went to tell Elisha what happened. Elisha smiled too and said,
"Well, now go and sell the oil. Pay what you owe, and you and your sons, you can live on what's left."
They went from nothing to plenty. God had taken care of them in a way they never could have imagined. Well, that is it for our story today. But before we go, let's think about what we just heard. This scripture might sound familiar because it's similar to something we learned in the Elijah series. I know, similar names and both prophets, but Elijah was before Elisha. One time, God told Elijah to visit a widow who only had a little bit of flour and oil left to make bread for herself and her son. Elijah told her not to be afraid and to bake him some bread first, promising that God would make sure her flour and oil wouldn't run out. She trusted God, and just as Elijah said, the flour and oil never ran out. It's easy to mix these scriptures up since they sound so similar. But let's remember they happened at different times with different people, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that. The last thing I want you to notice is how God, He cares about both big and small things. In our last Elisha episode, God helped an entire army win a battle. Tell me, is an army a lot of people? Yes, but today we see God step in to save one small, precious family. God cares about us, whether it's a lot of people in an army or a small family. He cares about each individual person. That's us. The God of the universe. He cares about you. Well, that is it for today's show. I'm so glad that you joined us. Make sure to click subscribe or follow so you don't miss any episodes, and stay tuned to see what happens next in our Elisha series. Thanks again, everyone, and as always, bye for now.